Hello there. I'm Mark Foreman, and I'm coming to you from my wood shop in my backyard in Orange, Texas. This is episode 12 of the Abandoned Armoire project. It's not so much abandoned anymore. I've gotten it back on its feet. All four sides are glued up. In between last video and this one, I glued on the other side and I glued the slat back to it. I probably did it in a much harder way than I needed to. It was laying face down on my bench, and with a lot of clamps and some support pieces of wood, I set that top slat back up on there and kind of pinched it into the grooves and glued it up. End result worked out really well. Things to come, the title of this episode. I took that off of a 1936 movie, Things to Come. If you haven't seen it, it's a must watch. It is like the foundational or a foundational movie of sci-fi and cinematography. Like I said, it was made in 1936, 90 years ago, pre-World War II. And the main theme of the movie is basically America gets into war, which did happen. In fact, the movie predicted the war started in 1940 when it actually, started in 1939 in Europe. Anyway, it's a classic. It's something you really got to watch. As far as things to come for the Abandoned Armoire, let me talk about where we are. On the bench right now is all of the remaining wood that is not currently attached to it standing upright. We've got the doors, and what we're going to have to do to those is they're going to be too wide because of all the trimming and shaping of the armoire to get it looking new again. It is now not as deep as it was and not as wide as it was by just a little bit, but a little bit counts. Plus, the doors weren't actually closing properly when we picked this up off the side of the road. It was already like it was too big. Hang on. Don't you hate spam calls? I think the doors had swollen up or something. They weren't actually closing properly. So anyway, we're going to have to trim those a little bit. And I didn't like how they were attached or how they would stay closed with this little magnetic things that were screwed directly onto that shelf. So I'm coming up with a different way to do that. So that'll be soon. But before that, we have the top, middle, and bottom shelves and arch at the top to do. The top is built out of these tiny slats, and they were stapled up and over the arch. We're still going to go up and over the arch, but I'm not going to staple them. Plus, they are now a little too long. I want to come up with a way that they stay up there permanently and not use staples. Now, they're going to be hidden by the top trim, which, by the way, I have repaired that broken piece. Got it glued back on. This is ready to go back on. So the slats are going to be behind this. You won't see this. You won't see the slats from the front, and you won't see them from the sides because this top trim goes on either side. So that's coming up. But before that, we also have the bottom shelf that goes in behind those two bottom doors. Again, tiny, oh, hang on. Again, tiny little slats. Some of these are broken, some of them are warped. I'm going to go back with a different way. I'll show you that when we get there. This whole tongue and groove method, which is useful. If you're not gluing, you're just stapling on the ends. I am going to glue, so I might wind up actually cutting these tongue and groove parts off, gluing them together. I also want to put some kind of support underneath, because even as they were very, squishy. You couldn't put anything heavy in there without feeling like you're going to break through the shelf. Worse than that was the middle shelf. This is basically the floor when you open the big doors up. They were tongue and grooved as well, made out of 1/2 inch or so pine, a little bit wider, 6-8 inches wide. But these bad boys, they smell. They have this moldy smell because being rained on, plus someone had thrown a bag of old clothes and a shower curtain in there that were sitting in there for who knows how long, just holding the moisture in. They smell moldy. And even though all of this wood has been in my shop out of the elements for now over 2 weeks, they're still kind of wet. So I got to do a lot of cleanup on those because they're funky. But the first thing I'm going to work on is the drawers. I could take them apart, get them all sanded, put them back together, but I'm going to accept the challenge. I'm going to try to get them reconditioned without taking them apart, just to see if I can. But they are very dirty. I see some mold. There's cobwebs still in this one. And the base is very flimsy, 1/8 inch plywood or whatever. I have an idea for that. So I am going to have to take it apart, kinda, to replace this bottom, but I'm not taking it apart to get it reconditioned. I'm going to do that in a challenging kind of way, because that's how I roll. Okay, that's things to come. So stick around. I don't know how much of it's going to be in this episode, but I'll get as much as I can, and then we'll keep going with future episodes. On to the drawers. So me and Splinter, that's my duck. He's a wood duck, actually. We started off sanding the first drawer. Started with 80 grit, and that's as far as I got. I'll still have to come back with 120, 150, 180, and 220 to get it to match the rest of the armoire. But the higher grits will go a lot faster, since 80 is the first attack of this unsanded rough wood. It's taking a lot longer, but it will still take some time to do the higher grits. Then I have to do the other drawer. So I sped this up to spare you the pain and suffering that I went through to get all this sanded, but I wanted to show you what it's like. So enjoy, and don't worry, it stops at 47 minutes and 20 seconds.